What's up, nerds? Let's dive into Robert Edgar's Nosferatu for 2024, which I boldly claim is the best movie of the year. And I don't say that lightly because 2024 had a lot of really good movies in it that were released this year. But Edgar's takes the iconic tale and blends the best elements from Herzog's adaptation with Murnau's original and the Stroker's novel, creating a perfect homage for diehard fans of both Nosferatu and Dracula. Now, starting with the plot, Eggers crafts an eerie narrative where Ellen, played by Lily Rose Depp, which I'll talk about in a little bit, initially prays for companionship, only to be haunted by a beastly vision. Now, as the story unfolds, we see her life in Wisburg with her husband, Thomas Hutter, who gets entangled in a dark deal with Count Orlok. Now, the journey to Orlok's castle in Transylvania is not just a trip, but a descent into the heart of Gothic horror. The plot's intricate weaving of occult pacts, visions, and the fight against an ancient evil creates the essence of horror with a nod to its literary roots. Now, regarding the cast, Bill Skarsgard's portrayal of Count Orlok, aka Nosferatu, is nothing short of transformative. I initially wondered when he would show up because the figure on the screen seemed more like a crusty old vampire than Skarsgard himself. And his performance is so immersive that I initially thought maybe that they had replaced him with some unknown actor. But no, they didn't. It was Skarsgård. And his commitment to the role, I mean, moving and sounding like an aged creature was simply mind-blowing. But I'll tell you one thing, I was not prepared for seeing some Nosferatu, Dick. You know, it was just a hang in there, you know what I'm saying? Now, Nicholas Hoult as Thomas Hutter delivers a performance filled with naivete and politeness. I mean, the guy is so nice, which ultimately leads him into peril. Now, his journey to Orlok's castle is visually stunning, reminiscent of classic art with a twist of horror. And I have to tell you right now, it was my favorite scene in the entire movie. I mean, I loved how the trees overlapped over the pathway, and there was just little blocks of light. And when the carriage came at him, and there was nobody driving it, I was like, "Ooh, that's good." And then when it stopped, after he had closed his eyes or whatnot, or shielded his eyes, it was just sitting there and the horses were gone. And I was just like, oh, this is good. This is so good. And then the thing opens and then the horses reappear out of freaking nowhere like a Houdini trick. And they just take him to the castle and the wolves are following. So freaking good. I loved it. And the office meeting where he's manipulated into his journey is a highlight, in my opinion. It showcases Edgar's attention to detail in set design and character interaction. Now, Lily Rose Depp as Ellen brings a mix of innocence and complexity to her role. I mean, her character's struggle with possession and her ultimate sacrifice to defeat Orlok are portrayed with both, vulnerability and strength. Okay, her scenes with Skarsgård are particularly compelling because they're filled with tension and like a disturbing sense of consent that's very much in line with the Victorian era's Gothic horror themes. Aaron Taylor Johnson as Frederick Harding provides a lighter contrast, playing the role of the skeptical friend who eventually faces the horror head on. And his character arcs from disbelief to tragic realization adds a human touch to the supernatural narrative. And I have to be honest with you, I connected with this character the most. I'm not rich like he was, but I am a father and a husband. And when he loses everything, I just felt that, I felt his happiness. I felt his when he said he would do anything for his girls, and he couldn't resist his wife. I'm paraphrasing because I only saw it the one time, but I totally understood that 100%. And then when he loses it all like that, I really was just like, man, I felt it, when he was at the graveyard and they were putting the caskets in the mausoleum. I also have to say his skepticism. I mean, the guy was just so gosh darn nice. He let his friend's wife, who was a friend of his wife's, into his home, and he didn't realize that he was letting the devil in. And I felt So bad for him. He again, I can't tell you how much I connected with this character. Out of the whole movie, he was the one that I connected with the most. Now, the supporting cast, including William Dafoe as Professor Von Franz and Ralph Innes as Dr. William Shivers, adds a depth and credibility to the film's exploration of science versus supernatural. Simon McBurney's Hernock was delightfully unhinged. I mean, bringing a chaotic energy that was both comedic and terrifying. I mean, first off, William Dafoe's character, he was interesting because he was trying to stop Nosferatu. But to stop Nosferatu, he had to give Nosferatu what he wanted. And I was like, oh, that's so good. And the whole time you're thinking that he's trying to defeat him, but really he's trying to defeat him, but give him what he wants. And I was like, oh, that's so good. And then Simon Burney, him as Hernock, when he bit off that pigeon's head, I was just like, ah, shit. And then he was just like playing like just like this crazy person, but at the same time, a crazy person with a purpose. You know, it was just so good. Visually, the film is a feast. Like, I did not starve in this movie. From the carriage ride to Orlok's castle, which I mentioned before, which feels like a stepping into a dark fairy tale, to the gothic labyrinth of the castle itself. Edgar's attention to the artistic style is evident. I mean, the use of practical effects like the swarms of rats, which I'm just telling you right now, as soon as they got off the boat and they were just calling around, I was like, ah, I was like, I'm not scared of rats, but I do not like rats. I mean, and it adds to the film's authenticity and horror. I mean, just something so simple as 2,000 rats running on set it freaked me out. Like, I was like, like when they were walking through to Nosferatu's casket, I was just like, oh, I was like, I would have been freaking out the whole freaking time if I was one of these actors. I mean, Edgar's craftsmanship shines through in every single frame. I mean, the film doesn't just tell a story, it immerses you in an experience that feels both timeless and meticulously modern in its execution. I mean, the blend of Victorian elements, which I love, with a modern twist on horror storytelling makes Nosferatu not just a film, but a piece of art that I could stare at all day. It was so good. Now, however, there are moments where the film might push boundaries in terms of consent and the portrayal of female characters, which could be seen as reflective of its source material's era, but might not sit well with all audiences. And you know which audiences I'm talking about. Now, the aspect does bring a layer of discomfort that's worth discussing, but I'm not going to do that here. I do want to say though, one little nitpicky thing that I didn't like about the movie, but I guess again I'm nitpicking. It could have been a little bit shorter. There was at one point in time, like maybe like 20 minutes shorter. But at the same time, again, this is just me nitpicking and trying to find something negative, something to bitch about, and that's all I got. That's yeah, you could have made it a little bit shorter. Then so that's all I got for you. Now, besides these considerations, Nosferatu is a cinematic event, you guys. I mean, with a budget of $50 million, they made this sucker for $50 million. I mean, Edgar's delivers what feels like a big movie with a big movie energy, suitable for those late night screenings where the darkness of the theater matches the darkness of the screen. I saw it not late at night. I saw it around 7 o'clock. So it wasn't too late, but I can tell you right now, I was loving it. You know, the scary parts were scary, and the thrilling parts, like where you were just like, whoa, what's gonna happen? What's going on here? That I could feel it. You know, I can't tell you how good it was and everything. So, in conclusion, Nosferatu is a must-watch for its homage to horror classics, its stunning visuals, absolutely stunning, and the sheer talent of its cast. I mean, whether you're into the goth scene or a fan of horror, or just appreciate filming at its finest, or just appreciate filmmaking at its finest, this movie delivers an experience that's haunting, beautiful, and at times shockingly funny. There was a couple of times where I was like, that's good, I like that. So I say go see it in theaters, especially for those nights when the world feels a bit more eerie, you know? And just go see this movie. I mean, there's just so much to talk about with this movie that you've probably already seen. Other reviewers do, but I had to get my thoughts out there. Like I said before, this is so my favorite movie of the year. Like it's so good. I just like and I would love to see where Edgar's goes from here. I saw a thing where he's going to redo the Labyrinth. I don't know if that's real, but I can tell you right now, I just really, whatever he makes next, I will be there day one to see it. I didn't see this on Christmas Day when it popped up, just because I got family stuff to do. But you guys, tell me what you guys thought about this movie. I mean, did you love it? Did you not? If you didn't love it, please tell me why. I'm so curious because I just love it so much. It's so good. But tell me, did you think Skarsgard's performance did it creep you out or anything as much as it did me? What did you think about Ellen's sacrifice? What did you think about the visuals of this movie? What did you think about the rats? They were pretty fucking gross. But tell me what you guys thought about everything. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. I loved this movie like 100%. It was so freaking good. But tell me what you guys thought. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next movie review. You guys have a good day. Bye.